Reading for Wildlife. Written and illustrated by Zella, a project by Zella and friends. An elephant for breakfast.
Father looked at Uncle Crispin. "I suppose eating the chocolate can't hurt," said Father. But Uncle Crispin was cautious. "I'm not so sure. It is now part of the evidence against whoever is transporting this ivory. I think we need to proceed carefully. First, let's put the chocolate out of reach, so our little mice don't nibble at the evidence. Then we should try to contact Cosmo to find out what he sent the children. And after that, we must hand the ivory and the chocolate over to the police." What a day. The children did not feel like playing tennis or swimming. They were worried about Uncle Cosmo. He might go to jail. They also felt certain that he was not the sort of person who would take part in slaughtering elephants and exporting ivory. But how had he become involved in such a business? The label on the package was clearly addressed to the children, and all the details were correct. The children studied the packaging again. A tea chest. They knew that his factory would still use tea chests. The label was handwritten. Tom thought that it looked exactly like Uncle Cosmo's handwriting. That evening back at Wisteria House, no one was hungry at dinner time, even though Mother had made shepherd's pie and peas, usually a firm favourite with Freddie, Rose and Tom. They looked at each other for long silent periods. Their mother and father exchanged hot words from opposite ends of the table. "Cosmo would never touch an elephant, let alone be involved in the export of ivory," Mother scolded. "Rupert, how could you even think such a thing about your own brother?" "People change," said Father, reflecting on what Uncle Crispin had said earlier. "Not so fundamentally," chided Mother. "Cosmo has lived in Africa for a long time. Perhaps times are hard. Has he taken the easy option?" suggested Father. "Don't be ridiculous," said Mother. "It's just a possibility suggested by Crispin." Father was now defensive. "None of this is perfect. Perhaps his principles have slipped." Mother replied, "No, you must not even think such negative things. It's Cosmo. I refuse to believe it. We must take the ivory to the police and let them deal with it. Cosmo would never be involved in cruelty to animals." A heavy silence hung over the table. Tom asked, "Have you spoken to Uncle Cosmo yet?" "No, his secretary said that he's away for a few weeks. She could not even tell me where he was. She sounded..." Father pressed his lips together. "What?" said Freddie. "He sounded a little... I can't be sure, but she sounded frightened. She also said something slightly odd that didn't even make sense." Father was momentarily lost in thought. What? The children implored him. "She seemed to whisper something. It was strange. It sounded like, 'Beware the Blackbird.'" Her voice wavered and then the phone line was cut off, replied Father. "Okay, your father and I need to speak to Uncle Crispin and Aunt Lily about this. We want to be sure we make the right decision. Tom, it's your turn to do the dishes. We'll be back soon," said Mother. And with that, their parents left to walk down the street to the pink house at 1 Paradise Road. Freddie, Rose and Tom cleared the table and Tom did the dishes. It was beginning to get dark outside and the rain rolled down the window pane like quiet tears. Rose said, "I feel very worried about Uncle Cosmo." "Where do you suppose he could be?" Just then the kitchen door rattled. A pause. There was another sound, a short, urgent knock. The children went together to the kitchen door, which faced the back garden, and peered through the glass. There in the garden stood a bedraggled man with a wet long coat and rainwater running down his face. It took them a moment to realize who it was. They opened the door. "Hide me," whispered Uncle Cosmo.
With enormous thanks to David Yarrow. Here is how you can help. Share the story. Adopt an animal from afar. Visit when you can. Educate yourself. Donate to a conservation charity. To find out more about Reading for Wildlife, visit zellahunter.com or at Lady Zella Books, or follow the Reading for Wildlife YouTube channel.